Splash pages. If you see a comic book that needs review.
Who are you gonna call?
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Is the one obvious thing.
Hey, everybody. This is Leo. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Splash Pages. I will be your turtle behind the keyboard tonight. Wait. I just realized my fingers are too big. I can't actually be the turtle behind the keyboard. Carrie, you got me? Yeah, I got you, Leo. Thanks for trying, though. Good to have you. Hi, everybody. This is Carrie. I'll be your Cthulhu behind the keyboard tonight. And we're going to have a fun show tonight. We're doing Ghostbusters Day stuff. Hey, Tom Dog, how's it going? Anyway, let's go see what Jeremy's got to say.
I've got nothing to say. I'm really excited. It's kind of a laid-back Tuesday for us. No guests, and we've got just a good old-fashioned comic book to read. So happy Tuesday, everybody! And see that I even commented in the comments.
Ooh, Drew. Ray, what did you think of?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. It's just he dances. He dances. Hey, everybody. And I think we all know whose idea this book was. It was clearly Carrie's. She's a big fan. We have a great show. We got some news. We have two dudes, a Carrie, and a comic book shop tonight. So, that's always a good time. Regrettably, our monkey behind the keyboard unfortunately couldn't make the show. We're but we're going to be here. We're going to make sure we have all the puns, and we're going to leave out all the snakes, and it's going to be a good show. Maybe we'll have like one, maybe two snakes, maybe two. Wait, Char, 2 or 3?
A head full of snakes.
Okay, cool, good. But we have a great show, and this is all to celebrate Ghostbusters Day, which is going to be Saturday, the 40th anniversary. But more on that later. Back to the full picture of the group.
Ta-da!
Yay!
So, hello everybody. Carrie, Jar,
Everybody.
everybody
Hello.
else watching. You know, you, and I don't know why you're here, but thank you. No, we love you all. So I have to admit, I'm very excited about this. A lot of times you guys have great selections, so it's nerve-wracking when I choose one.
Well, what exactly are you doing to celebrate your 40th anniversary?
Oh, we're gonna get into that, Jar. There's a thing. There's an event. There's that. But personally, I would like to get the work done first before we have the pleasure, the fun. So I think we should we should just get the news, whatever news is available, done out of the way. So somebody drop me a variant.
I am ready.
Well, Jar, I know what you are afraid of is apparently a commercial break.
Commercial
Sorry.
break.
You know,
My internet's been running a little wonky lately, guys. So if you're getting little skips with me, and I'm running the show.
okay, great.
But
You're doing wonderful,
work.
Carrie. So I believe
That's
you're on
okay.
variant watch. So correct me if I'm wrong, but speaking of the Turtles,
Teenage
Oh yes,
Mutant
Turtles.
and the ninjas. Okay, so this week on Variant Watch, let me pull all of this up.
Oh wow, that looks great.
Okay, so initially, Drew was just like, "Hey man, I found this great cover thing going up. It's Danny Earl. It's going to be awesome." And I was like, "Okay." And then I went and looked, and I was like, "They have released 22 covers already." So, yeah. So here's the deal, guys. I just decided to do them all so that we didn't draw it out over weeks. All right. So Jason Aarons is thrilled to be in the driver's seat on a new relaunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles during their 40th anniversary. Due to the absolutely overwhelming size of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fandom, you won't be surprised to learn that there are some variant covers involved. Like I said, currently 22 of them that I was able to track down. And these should all be available in stores on July 10th. What I'm showing you right now is the main cover, and this is by Raphael Albuquerque. And now we're going to start going through. These are the regular variants.
Okay.
Turkey Doc.
Get out.
Okay. Oops. Just a second. Everything just popped up. Okay. Okay, so this next one.
Whoa.
Okay, that is the B cover by Joelle Jones.
Okay.
All right, then we go to, I'm sorry, I'm having problems with this. Kevin Eastman.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. This is DJ Gonzo.
Okay.
E cover is Kari Randolph.
Wow, that looks great.
Is
Yeah.
Raphael going to be out front in this one?
He
don't know.
seems to be making it like in almost all the covers. I'm not going to lie. So I think there must be something going on there. This is the Aaron Campbell cover. Obviously, I did it just because I think it's funny. The blank sketch cover. This is another Joelle Jones.
Nice.
And this is the Eric Talbot 40th anniversary variant.
Nice.
Okay.
That looked great.
Yeah.
I have a print from him, and that his turtle work is really solid. So awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go into the incentives, and this is the one that we were talking about that brought it all up. Is the 1 in 25 Danny Earl cover, And if you
Mm.
look at this one, there are a couple of Easter eggs on the train. There's a call out to Eastman in the middle
Uh-huh.
window. And over on the side is 1984, which is when the Turtles came to us. So
Mhm.
this is a pretty fun cover. The one in 50 is by Derek Robinson.
The boy artist doing a freaking TMNT cover. That's awesome. Nice.
This one, the one in 75, is by Lee Bermejo.
Oh man, Leo. Oh no.
Isn't that just sexy?
That I'm watching this, Carrie, and I feel I can just hear Justin Cooper's wallet just slowly weeping. You know, just like we're trying to be good, but these are all so nice.
Just wait. There, it gets better. Okay. The one in 100 is Peach Momoko, which is, it's cute. I like this one. It wasn't as cool as the last one, though.
Oh, that is cute. Cool. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The one for 250 is Mateo Scalera.
Nice.
And I know Jason just posted this up on his Instagram the other day. He was excited about this. The one in 500, Sean Murphy.
Wow, that looks great. Look at them. That is fantastic.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's going to cost 1 in 500. So that's like, oh man, that's a silly, like whatever shop's ordering 500 copies of TMNT. That's
yeah.
Mile
that's
high.
going to be,
That's gonna be
pretty
pricey.
much. Okay. So now I'm going to go on to the retailer exclusives. All right.
Oh boy.
Some of these are really awesome. Okay. The Carnivore Comics Ryan Smallman variant. I think this is gorgeous, personally. This was one of my favorite covers out of the whole set.
That is good. That is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
With the graffiti style and everything, it was just like, oh, nice.
Mhm.
Okay, the next one you're going to kind of see twice. This is the Collector's Paradise Mike Choi foil virgin variant.
Nice. Yeah, Mike Choi does some good work. He's also going to be. He's one of the artists at Terrificon this year. Nice.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is the non-foil virgin variant.
Okay.
And then we have. Okay. This is the Eclectable Comics Mike Ruth Color Splash Wraparound Virgin variant.
Okay.
Which I thought was rather... Yeah, I can't even see him. It just goes all the way over to the next page on my little list here. Same thing without the color splash.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really pretty. Spectral Comics Derek Chu Virgin variant. Check that out.
Yeah. Well, Art Gem and Derek Chu are almost on the same level. That their work is just unparalleled, glorious cover work. So that doesn't surprise me. Derek Chu is a great artist. Look at that shredder.
Yeah, and seeing the nunchucks held in front, getting ready to come at him at the bottom, that's just...
Yeah, I thought that was somebody laid out on the ground.
No, that's his hand holding up to get him.
Oh, see, I was like, oh, the camera's coming from like Mikey's view, and like Mikey's like down on the ground, out cold.
Nope. All right. What
okay.
else,
Two more. This is the Things from Another World Dustin Yen Virgin variant.
Oh, nice. He does great work too. Look at the watercolor strokes. He is just beautiful work.
Yeah. And this last one is Unknown Comics David Nakayama Virgin Raphael Negative Space variant.
Yeah.
It's not as big a space as they normally are. They usually even take out the outline of the legs and stuff.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be edited a little bit more when they before they release it or not. It would seem like it should be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right.
So So that covers up all the turtles that we have.
22.
And, well, 23 because I showed you the main one. And I'm
Right.
trying to
And
get
the
this to go. Okay. Yeah. Because that's funny to me. Okay. So this, Zeb Wells' current run on The Amazing Spider-Man has most recently, in issue 50, had Peter Parker brainwashed by the Green Goblin. This has resulted in him becoming a new persona, Spider Goblin. For how long? We don't know. However, we're headed into the Sinister Six territory with Gabrielle D'Alto's combined covers for issues 53 and 54, with Spidey seemingly himself again and fighting Doc Ock, Kraven the Hunter, Electro, Mysterio, Sandman, and the Vulture. And this is going to be available on the 10th and 31st of July. I could not find them separate, but this is issues
Gabriel
53.
D'Amato does beautiful work. So, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that's going to be a hot. I mean, look at that. Just all together, that's a beautiful image.
Yeah, I was blown away. I saw it small and then I found it huge so I could shrink, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Carrie, if you like his, well, first thing, his covers are great, but he did an arc. He did the original Secret War with Bendis. So that's, I think, like 4 or 5 books of just his artwork. It is gorgeous, full of superhero goodness. Definitely check that out if you like his work.
Raz makes a good point. The Electro is looking a little like Nova, but it's working for me.
There you go.
Okay. If I'm not pulling up your comments, it's because I have 3 screens going at once and I can't fit in a 4th.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll call them out if they're anything good. No.
All right, cool.
Yeah, do. Thank you. Okay, and the last variant for today's watch is, yes. As we just learned last week, Greg Capullo and Jonathan Hickman have teamed up to put out Wolverine Revenge, a 5-part series being released in August as part of the celebration of the 50th anniversary of Wolverine. This week we are graced by the art of yet another gorgeous variant from Stanley Artgerm Lau. This cover will also be available as a Virgin variant cover. Go ahead and get yours ordered because they're going to be released on August 11th.
Listen, Artgerm, his work is always fantastic. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him put out a crappy cover. So this doesn't surprise me at all, especially considering the hype behind this series, you know?
Yeah, this is beautiful as always. Yeah, you never see anything from him, then you're like, why did you do that?
No.
So, okay, so bam, folks, this has been Variant Watch.
Nice.
That's it? Wow.
That's it.
Hold on. Carrie, initiate the news.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hold on, because I have to first pull up the news. Because,
It's okay. We got this.
I don't have 3 screens. I
Hold on
don't
a second.
win that way.
We can cue up the news if you want. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. You know, you talk about the news. We're talking about Huey Lewis, right? You know.
Get out.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry. I saw Back to the Future, the musical, this weekend, everybody. So, the power of love has been stuck in my head the entire time. Power of love is a curious thing. Side note, if you are a fan of that, the band I Fight Dragons does a fantastic cover of Power of Love. That's a little, it's very nerdy, and it's got that nice 80s synth going on it. Definitely check that out if you get a chance.
Raz is definitely interested in how the musical was. So when we get a chance, you gotta brag some.
Oh, Raz, it was absolutely amazing. Like, I never thought I'd ever see a prop sort of DeLorean on a Broadway show, and it was great. Like, fantastic. Yes. So yes. I definitely recommend it. Unfortunately, someone that suffers some of the afflictions that Carrie does would unfortunately not be able to see it because it is very light sounds, flashing
I
light.
would imagine, especially with the electric or the
Mhm. Yeah, it's a lot. Carrie would not enjoy it as much as we would, which is sad because it's a great show.
All right. Now it's
Yep,
time
come
for
Drew's News! Drew's News! Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains fly under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News! Drew's News! Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's comic news.
beautiful.
dun dun dun. Dun, dun.
All right. As you can
All
tell,
right.
I'm shocked. All right. So
Is this
this is me. Following the success, from what I understand, of the Wolverine versus Predator, which was absolutely great. I cannot recommend that enough to people. Marvel has announced another comic series that follows a similar platform, which is Predator versus Black Panther. And just like that book, it'll be a 4-issue miniseries seeing Predator, aka the Yatuja, fighting against T'Challa, aka King T'Challa from Wakanda. Well, okay, we're not going to get into the current storyline, but that. And not only is it similar, it's written by the same guy. So writer Benjamin Percy will be joined by artists Chris Allen and Ken Lashley in a story where the Predator... What happened?
I said Ken Lashley's doing the art. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Chris Allen and Ken Lashley are both doing the work. Look at that.
That's a boss. Yeah.
Yeah. So Predator is heading to Wakanda to obtain vibranium for his tribe. And on his mission, he, of course, meets up and finds a challenger in the Black Panther. So Benjamin Percy talked at great lengths about how this made so much sense that the Black Panther is a great adversary for the Predator, and how Wakanda is just a fantastic stage for it, especially because, since Wakanda has that perimeter shield, when that's activated, that basically turns the country into a hunting preserve, which is right up the Predator's alley. So, you just got that interesting mix of the Yatuja, their love of vibranium, weapons, trophies, all of that. So essentially, Percy said, and I quote, "If you're a comics nerd, I will feed you. If you're a movie nerd, I will feed you too. And if you've never read anything about Black Panther or Predator, you get fed as well."
Oh, we can all take.
So this will be debuting August 21st, and you can bet if we can get him on an interview at Terrificon, as he will be there.
Did I freeze?
Is that me or Drew? I think it's Drew.
Okay. Whew. I was like, oh no. So, Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing
Drew,
great.
in a second.
I'm not sure how comments are doing because I can't see them, but
Calypso
doing pretty
Rain
good.
loves our intro to Drew's news. I'm guessing that's Friday, isn't it?
I'm not sure. It could be.
I wonder. We don't normally get a lot of new people, so I'm always wondering if it's the same people. Oh no, we lost Drew completely. I hope he's okay.
Oh no.
Do you know the Muffin Man? I knew it was Friday.
Who lives on Drury Lane?
Yeah. Where is
So
Drew?
yeah, well, his internet's off. Currently, by the way, folks, AT&T and Verizon are both having nationwide outages, mostly focused in the Midwest and the Northeast. So
Yeah. No, I was
so
wondering
we'll wait a little bit here.
because we're supposed to be getting storms. The whole world's crashing around us. See? What do you want to go to the next news, or what's next? Probably more Drew. Huh?
Oh, yeah, I have. Oh, good for you, Tom. They don't work for me, so I have to do Verizon. So yeah. Oh, there we go. He came back.
My town has its own internet.
Sorry, everybody. I had a slight glitch. My apologies. But yes, so August 21st, very psyched. Hopefully we can talk to Benjamin Percy about this terrific con. Awesome. So,
Oh, yeah.
so
All right.
yeah. So I cannot recommend to both of you. Please, like, Wolverine vs. Predator was awesome. It was only 4 issues and it was fan-fucking-tastic. So even if you know nothing about Predator, it was really easy to follow. The same thing with Wolverine, but the way it was done, like, I'm psyched about reading this. This is gonna be great.
All right. Next up, speaking of being fed, DC has announced a one-shot comic book based around the Super Pets special Bitedentity Crisis.
Okay, because because that cover is really cute. I'm not gonna say it, Gary, but
okay. Bitedentity Crisis features Nightwing's three-legged pupper Bitewing, or Haley Grayson, taking a trip to the Kent farm. There she'll be joined by Crypto, Streaky the Super Cat, the squirrel from Green Lantern, the Wonder Woman kangaroo Jumpa, Ace, the Bat Hound, and Gleek from Super Friends. Hints on the variant cover by Gustavo Duarte suggest that we might be getting Bat Cow, Dexstar from the Red Lantern Corps, and a bird that Plastic Man has been hiding, perhaps. There may also be a plethora of pets that Damian Wayne has been collecting as well. We just don't know at this point. This has been written by Tony Fleeks, Alexis. Yes?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Okay. This comic is written by Tony Fleeks with Alexis Quasarano. Say that one. Michael Conrad, Dan Waters, and Kyle Starks, with art from Mike Norton, PJ Holden, Sam Basri, Chris Mitten, and Kyle Starks. The main cover work was done by Pete Woods, with variant covers by Tony Fleeks and Carl Kershaw, which have not been released yet. And this incentive variant cover that I'm showing you right now. This is a 48-page book, and it is going to be going on sale July 30th.
I'm sold.
Tony Fleeks with more of the animals, huh?
Yep.
I'm sold. I'm good. Even the pun enough.
I'm like,
the Bitedentity Crisis. I was like, I'm good. This is gonna be great.
It's gonna be cute, at least, if nothing else.
I mean, Plastic Man having a bird. What a game changer.
We don't know where he's been hiding. Apparently, with all of the hidden pets that Damian has. So
he would. He's sneaky. Ninja pets.
So next up.
Oh, this is me, Assassin's Creed Mirage. In collaboration with Ubisoft, Dark Horse Comics is launching a brand new Assassin's Creed comic series, Assassin's Creed Mirage, as I just said, a Soar of Eagles. The series features the creative talents of writer Michael Avon Oman from Blue Book, artist Mirko Kolak from Lunar Lodge, colorist Lauren Affey from Count Crowley, and letterer Jim Betancourt from Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures. The cover art is crafted by Julie Dillon, Stranger Things Kamachka. Set years before the events of Assassin's Creed Mirage, the story follows a young Fulada who returns to his homeland to investigate political turmoil that may be linked to a secret order of the ancient stronghold. Fulada and Roshan face immediate threats as they uncover the root of the chaos and violence in the Duelist. Assassin's Creed Mirage, A Soar of Eagles, 1 of 3, will be available in comic shops on November 6, 2024. You can pre-order it now at your LCS.
You know, I'm starting to notice more of a trend where comic book, like video games, are continuing their story with with comics, which I'm fine with, because again, the universes are usually
I'm
pretty
absolutely
fascinating.
fine.
So,
Well, Assassin's Creed started off. Or no, I'm thinking of my next story.
cool.
But yeah, but Assassin's Creed, it's fantastic. I'm actually just finishing up with Origins again on my Xbox.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to 100% the game, so taking a little time.
May the odds be in your favor, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. But that's
All right.
great. So good stuff. What's next, Carrie?
Next up, we have absolute comic book rock star Chip Zdarsky is going to be adding his talents to the folks over at the creator-owned digitally different Distillery Comics. Chip got his first break with Sex Criminals, which he wrote with Matt Fraction, and he has always kept one foot in the creator-owned comic book companies since that point, even with all of the work that he's gotten with the big two. Starting off with Time Waits, which will be released in late summer, Zdarsky is going to be putting in 4 separate titles. Time Waits is pairing him up with co-writer David Brothers, artist Marcus, whose name apparently I don't have. Thank you.
Marcus. Yeah.
Thank you. Colorist Matt Wilson and letterer Ariana Marr. This story is going to revolve around a time-traveling mercenary named Blue who has just jumped far back in his timeline into what is our present. There he hides out in a small town and starts to fall in love and make a life with the sheriff, Grace. Of course, no one is allowed happiness in time travel, so his former organization decides to track him down and send a bunch of soldiers to hunt him and capture him for desertion and the knowledge that he possesses. With regards to the other titles that he has signed on for, Zdarsky has said that he has ideas for all 4 covered in the deal, which are in different stages of development. As he says, the second title is being drawn, the third title is being written, and the 4th one is being discussed. But all the artists are lined up and everybody is ready to go, which is nice. And with everything on Distillery, you can order your digital copies, and then you actually will own them, and they are sellable. It's an interesting system that they have. And the hard copies you can get from them as well. Every hard copy issue from Distillery is presented in a perfect bound prestige format, featuring wraparound covers with spot gloss on robust cover stock, complemented by 48 pages of exquisite interior stock. It's the Distillery difference. And I will quit being a commercial now. But I just thought that was neat that they do that with all of their comics, because that little extra. So, next up.
Yes, I 100% stole this from Leo, because I was like, no, this is the Batman story I'm covering. So, one of, in my opinion, the best Batman stories ever published, being the Batman The Long Halloween by Jeph Loeb and the late great Tim Sale, is getting a final sequel to this ongoing story called The Last Halloween. So Jeph Loeb is returning to write the 10-part mystery story that is essentially going to continue the story that we saw with 2021's The Long Halloween special. So as we know, unfortunately, Tim Sale has passed on, but Loeb will be joined by several artists such as Eduardo Risso from 100 Bullets, Dave Stewart, and Richard Starking, as well as Klaus Janson from The Dark Knight Returns, Mark Chiarello from Batman Black and White and the Batman Houdini Devil Workshop. Check that out. Batman, Houdini, Elseworld, awesome. And more who can be announced later. So it's a 10-part mystery where Gotham learns to fear Halloween once more as a terrible event threatens to destroy Jim Gordon's life and puts Batman and Robin's teamwork to the test more than ever before. In a city of liars, mass vigilantes, and criminals, can anyone be trusted? So apparently, this was already something that was in the works with Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. So they had already decided to tell the last chapter following the Long Halloween special, which is kind of the prologue to this story. Then, of course, speaking to other people like Mark Chiarello and Richard Starkings, who worked on previous Long Halloween books, they were like, listen, we gotta do this as a tribute to Tim. It's going to conclude the war between the crime families, the gangsters and such, and the costume criminals, aka the Freaks, as Batman, Robin, DC's most famous villains, face off against another Holiday, who, as you remember, is a serial killer who kills people coincidentally on holidays, and secrets leading back to the Long Halloween special will be revealed. So this will be available Wednesday, September 25th, and I can't wait.
And it said it's 10 issues? Or
10 issues,
books?
sir.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm loving the covers, these first ones that they're showing. I don't know if they're all for the same book, but...
No, same book. Same book. They're...
This is number 3.
They're different... they're different covers for the same title.
Oh.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and they're all doing their best to mimic Sale's style. You can tell that especially by whomever drew the Penguin, because that's how they do the teeth. But yeah, the Riddler. That's 100% how Tim Sale did it. So
I like
having
his
met
little
Tim
enigmatic
Sale,
grin.
I will say this: having met Tim Sale at 1 or 2 cons, he was a really nice guy. Loved meeting his fans. I'm really fortunate to have as much of my collection that I have signed by him, and he is very much missed. So, I'm glad that we'll see the end of this story, because, in my opinion, this is one of the best Batman stories that was ever published. So,
anyone know what the numbers 51, 56 stand for?
No idea, but there's always a reason with these stories. So
that's what I'm figuring.
Yeah, they're on there, so
we'll see.
Oh, that one doesn't have them, but
we will see.
All right.
What's next, Carrie?
Sads.
Oh.
Yes. So yet again, proving that everybody in our beloved industry is a national treasure and should be appreciated and met whenever you have the opportunity to do so. Colorist Tom Luth, also known for his work on Sergio Aragonés' Groo, has died recently at the age of 70. According to his collaborator, Mark Evanier, cartoonist Philye and his wife Linda went to check on Luth at his home on May 23rd and found him that he had passed away, apparently from a heart attack. This awesome artist studied illustration at the California State University, Long Beach, began working in comics in the 80s. First time he colored Aragonés' work was for a cover of Uncle Jam, which was a free paper in 1982. Then he began coloring Groo the Wanderer as a backup for Pacific Comics. He basically was the colorist for the entire comic by issue 5, and he stayed with the series Groo the Wanderer for over almost 40 years. When it went from Marvel to Image and then to Dark Horse, where his work also included the Groo Conan crossover, aka Conan meets Groo. He was a frequent colorist for Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo, which included his first arc when it moved from IDW in 2019. He did some issues of Mike Baron's Nexus, The Badger, a couple of Disney comics, Mad Magazine, and a mini comics that were included with Masters of the Universe toys. So there you go, Jar. He did some cover work for Fantagraphics on titles that range from Love and Rockets to King Kong. While he was retired, he did return to color Aragonés and Evanier's Groo story for the Comics for Ukraine benefit anthology, which was nominated in 2024 for an Eisner. And his final work with Aragonés was the cover of the collected edition for their space series, Space Circus, which will be published later in 2024. So our condolences from Splash Pages to him and his family, and thank you for all your contributions, sir.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right.
So say we all.
And wrapping it up on a bit of a higher note.
Oh, that's me. The
That's
Witcher.
you.
That's me. Now a hugely successful video game and live-action streaming series began. It all began with author Andrzej.
You're doing fine, buddy. It's okay.
Sapkowski's original short stories. Dark Horse Books continues its Witcher comic adaptations with The Witcher: The Edge of the World, a hardcover original graphic novel based on one of these stories.
Mhm.
The Edge of the World will be brought to life by writer Magdalena Salik, artist Tommaso Benato, colorist Chris O'Halloran, and letterer Hassan Otsmane Elahu.
Good job.
Yeah. This story delves into some of Geralt of Rivia's earliest adventures, revealing surprising truths about demons. Dark
The
Horse
nature,
describes the graphic novel work is hard to come by for Geralt, and for his bardic traveling companion Dandelion, the doldrum of the road is not a worthy subject for his rhymes or ballads. The Witcher: The Edge of the World goes on sale December 18th with a cover painted by Kai Carpenter. That's sweet.
That's beautiful.
I want to
Yeah.
read more of The Witcher just because I just saw this. I'm like, huh.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been reading some of it. I mean, again, I came late to the game because my first introduction to that was the series, which is still my favorite work of Henry Cavill's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love him when he was the kid in Count of Monte Cristo back in 2002. And I appreciated his Superman. And I know he's done other things. He did Mission Impossible, Man from U.N.C.L.E. I know he's in that new thing, League of Unsavory Gentlemen or something like that.
Mhm.
But I loved him as Geralt of Rivia. I thought he did such a good job.
He was
And the
made
fact
for
that he
that
was
role.
such a big fan, to me, really did bring a lot to the series. I mean, the fact that the reason he left was because he got really irritated with that they kept deviating from the story of the video game and the books and doing their own thing. So, you know, like that's a real fan. And, you know, he just can walk away. I'm like, damn, that is awesome. So, yep.
All right.
Yep. So can't wait
We
for that.
just finished
And
up
me.
Drew's news.
We just watched Drew's news. You just watched Drew's
watched
news.
Drew's
'cause
Yes,
you're
we
watching-
watched
Because
the
we're
news.
really
Move on.
smart.
We're really, really smart.
All right. All right, you crazy kids.
All right.
Let's get into the thick of it. So
Into the thick of it.
let me start everybody with explaining what this book is, because that's going to be a bit of a deal. So for those who don't know, IDW back, I think in like 2012, got the comic book rights to publish Ghostbusters comics, and they did it with a dream team of Eric Burnham and Dan Showing. And these were the consistent collaborators for the book from 2012 to I believe about 2020, 2021, 2022. So they worked on their story, which was essentially the Ghostbusters combining stories from the first movie, the second movie, and the video game. And then, of course, as the story went on, they would, of course, reference things as Dan Showing and Eric Burnham are both big fans of everything Ghostbusters. So there's a lot of visual cues in there, references to the cartoon, other nerdy intellectual properties and whatnot. And then they started doing crossovers. And one of their crossovers was with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as the great Justin Cooper would, of course, highlight. And then it went from there, because you started with the Turtles and them meeting through dimensional hijinks, which led to them having a dimensional portal that allowed them to trapeze across the multiverse, which saw them meeting everybody from their animated counterparts in the real Ghostbusters to the Ghostbusters from the 2016 movie, you know, the all-female cast, and so much more, essentially cultivating in what is called a Max event. So this is what we're dealing with now. Crossing Over is an 8-issue Max event that is just a dream for any Ghostbusters fan. I mean, this is just heaven. So essentially, when two Ghostbusters decide that they don't want to, they feel the original Ghostbusters are kind of hoarding these dimensional secrets, they decide to build their own portal And in doing so, they mess up with stuff in the containment unit, which causes a number of ghosts to escape. So to prevent the containment unit from going on full meltdown, which, as we've seen in the first movie, it will be bad. They enlist the help from everybody. And when I mean everybody, these guys go to recruit Ghostbusters from every conceivable universe you can think of. How do I know? Because in the first issue, the last panel is every fanboy's dream. So they slap together these teams. They chase down these various ghosts. Some are recognizable, some are not. It's a huge story combining years of stories into one cohesive storyline, and it is just awesome. So that's my synopsis for it. Crossing over is a fan dream, and I like to think even if you don't read the comics, you could follow it pretty well. But more from our sponsors.
No, definitely. I didn't read. We've only read that other. You had recommended some other one before that we read, and beyond that, I haven't read much for Ghostbusters. This was totally like the beginning part of each book had like a rundown of everything, so it was perfect for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like
And here's
even not being good with like names and forgetting stuff like that all the time, it was just made it so easy.
There you go.
yeah, here's that shot that you were talking about where they bring everybody together.
Yep.
Come together.
Yes. That's one of them.
I think
Okay. I'm trying to get
I was
there.
talking about. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. The one at the end of, I believe it's this book. So
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, because this is where they catch the ghost. That was nice of them to have intermediate like ghost busting going on while they're also trying to figure out their whole like shitstorm of what's going down. You know, it didn't just get stuck in where they're sitting there going, well, we've got to do this and come together with this and that and that.
Mhm.
They had to go after the George Washington Bridge ghost and the ghost from the restaurant there.
Dana
I mean,
taking on the John Belushi role, though, this cracked me up.
You have to understand also is that this book, just again, like I said, it was just, there's so many moving parts. Like right there. Look, I'm actually zooming in on it because I just got to look at it again. I was like, how beautiful is that? I mean, God, there's just so many. Like literally, I can name pretty much most of these right now. So you've got in the front, you have the mainstream Ghostbusters. Right. And then right there. Yeah. So Carrie, yeah, that's the mainstream. So moving up via the right, you have the 2016 Ghostbusters, aka referenced as the Answer the Call. To their left, you have the Extreme Ghostbusters, which were mentored by a version of essentially kind of like the sequel to the people on their left, which are the real Ghostbusters. Their left, Gary.
That is their left. Oh.
Thank you. So no, their left. Not the formal, not the Chicago group. I was talking about the real Ghostbusters. So you have that.
It's our left.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you have the real Ghostbusters. And funny enough, you have kind of like a goofy, sort of cartoony version there. And then the ones that Carrie just had on the far right, Carrie. Down.
See, I didn't even know there was a Chicago team.
So you have those. So you have Ron Alexander is right there. He used to be a former competitor of the Ghostbusters, formed a group called the Ghost Smashers. The two women there were members of his team that became recruited by the Ghostbusters. And the guy with the goggles on, that is That's supposed to be the rookie character that you play in the Ghostbusters video game. Yeah. So then, I believe going up, yeah, you have yet again another version of the Ghostbusters from some distinct comic book universe. I'm not 100% sure. Next to them, you have Mike the Golem, who was a stone golem of myth, who was trained by his Ray and others to essentially become a golem Ghostbuster. And then if you move, Carrie, if you move far left and just a little bit down, yeah, right there. That group is the Sanctum of Slime Ghostbusters. So those were a team of Ghostbusters in a future where, kind of similar to what we deal with now, where the Ghostbusters grew too old to do the work, so they hired a new team. So, and then even further, Carrie, if you could go back to the Extreme Ghostbusters, but go below the gentleman in the wheelchair. Yes, those, as Jeremy would point out, those are the Ghostbusters from the Ghostbusters 2 Game Boy video game. So like I said, that's everybody.
All right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
Thank
a
you.
bunch of goddamn Ghostbusters.
Man, it's a bunch of goddamn Ghostbusters. But again, and on top of it, I think I think it is really sad that I don't think I've ever seen Dan Showing win an award, or at least for his Ghostbusters work, because the way he was able to channel the individual styles of each team was fantastic.
I agree. Like, nobody was, even though you had two Egons, they were definitely different.
Well, yeah. And they also kept to the style, and that's the important thing is, like, yes, it's all Dan's style, but he's adapting it to be, the slightly 90s alternative grunge of the real Ghostbusters, the 80s softer style of the real Ghostbusters. You got the rougher, gritty Sanctum of Slime with your mainstream, your his style, Peter and things. Carrie pointed out that she had that one panel. I think it was like 3 different Slimers, and she was like, "That's a lot of food." And again, you have
Egon
this
with the
big
And there's
threat.
this guy.
Oh yeah, that are you talking about the Egon with the red gloves?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Egon from the Extreme Ghostbusters universe. He's their mentor. Yeah. Yep. All that. So yeah, you got all them. But point being is, like I said, just a big fucking book, and it was just great. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of reading this. I cannot tell you.
The battle with death was great.
Well, yeah, it's because
That's
also
Bill and Ted.
Well, yeah, that, but it's also funny because Eduardo is a bit of a slacking idiot. So, and it's actually funny because Eduardo's last name is Rivera. And then it's funny because that's my partner's last name. So I always made the joke that that's another reason that I started dating her, is because I wanted to keep it a Ghostbuster relationship.
See, and here's 2 different Kylies.
Is your partner a Ghostbuster?
No, but she has been lovingly referred to by Ernie Hudson as my Dana, so I'm good.
Very nice.
Yeah, and yes, to answer your question, Carrie, there are 2 separate versions of Kylie. There is one that helps out the team and is kind of an unofficial Ghostbuster in the Prime universe, and then there's the one from the Extreme Ghostbusters who is kind of their team leader. And Carrie, just to let you know, she also was a former cheerleader, so I kind of think that's you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Yeah, here's all the different Slimers.
Yep. That's a lot of spuds, man. Look at that. That's a lot. Look at all of that. Because again, look, you've got on the left, you've got the Prime Slimer, who's just, foul-tempered, mischievous goop. You've got the up top, you've got the Slimer from the real Ghostbusters, who is, silly, goofy, mascot. Below him is his sequel version and from the Extreme Ghostbusters. You've got the Slimer next to him is from the Answer the Call. And then I believe the one above them is like, it kind of looks like an Ecto Cooler Slimer. Just a really goofy, cartoony one. Yep. As Carrie put it, that's a lot of slime.
I had fun with this with all the different places. Like, this is Central Park in one of the dimensions that they get sent to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a black and white dimension that they're in. We saw
the what the hell's that? Where they were all like 2D. Well, they weren't, but the world was 2D.
Yes.
Yeah,
Carrie, he's talking about the super animated universe. The cartoony one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Yeah, it'll get back there. I can go back real quick.
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's all good.
Here we go. When they start in the comic book.
Oh, yes.
Great. I mean, again,
they're like,
I don't want to show too much because, again, like, if you really do want to read this, guys, I really recommend reading much of it. But I mean, it was such a good book, and again, credit to Eric. Everybody's voice was there. I mean, no one felt out of place. No one felt out of character. It was all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I
even liked how they mixed up the teams that were going out.
Yeah.
So it was that you had all these opposing kind of personalities.
Viewpoints and different ways about going about the same thing. And I have to say this, Jeremy, because I touched on this when I was on with Justin Cooper and Steve McCann when we were talking. Is that Eric Burnham did this beautiful thing with the IDW where he established that when the Ghostbusters in the first movie defeated Gozer the Gozerian, and they split Gozer's essence, because as we've seen in the cartoon and the comics, Gozer continues to remanifest into their dimension. But a lot of times he gets defeated because it's kind of his role in life, especially because, unfortunately, because Ray chose his form, he always comes back as Stay Puffed. So until another form is chosen for him, which I believe it was at one point, he's always coming back as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which, being a fan of the cartoon, it was big. But Gozer, when they did that, they kind of scattered Gozer's essence throughout the multiverse. But inadvertently, when they did, they also kind of scattered the consciousness necessary to create Ghostbusters in multiple dimensions. So it was so essentially the Ghostbusters, while they couldn't completely defeat Gozer, they did kind of ensure that every dimension that Gozer could remanifest would have opposition in the form of a Ghostbusters team. And to me, that kind of saved so much because it kind of made everything make sense, because it's like, okay, this is how you could have all these different versions of Ghostbusters, kind of like how I imagine your beloved He-Man is, benefits from a multiverse, because, they're all similar, but they're a little different.
Definitely.
Except
for when they had the electric He-Man.
Right. But so to me, I just kind of made it really make sense, because I was like, okay, like, it's kind of like how, you look at DC movies or Marvel movies. It's a multiverse. So there's literally a version for everybody. So to me, I thought that was just a genius explanation on Eric's end.
I liked how the 2016 Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they were actually used in this. I was not disappointed.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the 2016 movie, but I know that it's not a favorite amongst the world of ghostbusting.
Yeah, Jar, just essentially because like I said, if you want to hear my full opinion, that is, I think that I applaud the movie for what it was trying to do, something different. And again, I am an equal opportunity Ghostbuster. I don't care whomever you are. If you can slip on a jumpsuit, sling on a proton pack, and you got the attitude when you flick that switch on, Godspeed, and may busting make you feel good. You know?
Yeah.
Shut up, Carrie. Carrie's like, I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting here letting you talk. I just felt like you were going to say a snarky remark because that could have been dirty. Yeah. So basically, Jar, in my opinion, the movie, what the book did was it kind of solidified everybody. It explained the universe in a way that made sense, and it kind of solidified their presence in that universe. And they did do a crossover with the. Thank you, Raz. They did do a crossover with the Answer the Call Ghostbusters, as they're called. And like I said, it really did make me appreciate them in a different light, because I was very much on the fence about the movie. I feel that certain things worked, certain things didn't. But for me, as a fan, as someone who's been cosplaying as a Ghostbuster for over 10 years now, I think the best way to go about it is that however you are inspired, whatever version you show up, you're suited up. I don't care if your pack turns on or it has to be inflated with air. You show up, you slip on that suit, you show up, you're a Ghostbuster, because you're supposed to be having the good time. And that's the policy I've always gone on it. And I'm somebody who, Jar, I let people wear my pack for photos. I'll take it off. I'll let them wear it just because I like giving people that opportunity to enjoy something that they never thought they could from their childhood, But that's me. A proton pack is very expensive. And it's just, like I said, I've seen the franchise just come together and just be great. And yes, like any nerdy franchise, Jar, there's always there's bad apples, drama, whatever. I don't care how you say it. There will always be that, no matter what group. The point is that we are all there to have a good time, and it shouldn't matter who's the biggest fan, who had what and whatnot. I was like, listen, you're there to have a good time. And if you're doing that and you're being a positive role model, that's anything that Dan and the late great Harold Ramis would be proud of when they banged out the script that would lead to the first movie, So, end speech. I'm good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
starting the slow clap.
Thank you. So, so did you guys have any? I have to ask this because again, I've read every book in this. Were there anything you had questions about that maybe that our audience might want to know?
I was going to pull up, if it's okay, the pages that show the paperwork for like what each dimension is, that gives a little brief explanation, so that people can see that there is, like, if you go and check out the comic, you'll see, okay, this is, what the peaky reading is. This is the dimension. This is how they found it. These are the people they found and such. And it kind of cracks me up because some of them are like, oh, we were checking out a malfunction. Oh, somebody, we got here wrong. And then one of them is like, Egon sneezed or something. And there's another one where it's like, somebody was going to a dimension that had a baseball game that their team only won in that one.
Yeah.
We ended up in this dimension. Oh,
See,
favorite football team.
Say, look at that, the little 8-bit universe Ghostbusters and their little 8-bit Slimer. How cute.
I have to admit, I skipped these.
It's all good.
This is This is the dimension that they only discovered on accident because Peter was taking trips to it to find his favorite football team, who was seemingly unbeatable.
There you go.
And then these guys showed up.
Yep.
And these are the ones that are more anime style, and apparently they're dicks, and they can speak in English, but they refuse to. A lot of times they speak in Japanese and just say really, really insulting and bizarre things on purpose, according to the notes here.
Yeah, I know why, because there was an anime, small anime series of Ghostbusters. It was a manga. And I remember that because they had a storyline that had the aide from the mayor from the second one. I believe it was Jack Hardemeyer. From the second movie, try to lead some sort of revenge against the Ghostbusters for ruining his life and career. So he made a deal with some spiritual force that got far out. I've never actually read it, but I've read the synopsis. So okay, so I know that tracks, and that's right. That's the Extreme Ghostbusters.
This is the one that was caused there, or that was discovered because of a sneeze.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, the combined Spanglers are working on the science of pure luck as a result of hay fever causing the discovery of another dimension.
There you go.
These were the future ones, correct?
Yes, these are these. Yes, this is the Sanctum of Slime. Mm-hmm. Yep. 20 years in the future.
Yeah, and they do have a lot of things in common, but not quite everything. Although apparently they see themselves and they feel that they've aged well, which they're happy with.
Oh, there you go.
I loved how they got into the whole, why don't we just go to the past and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, because we don't have time travel, damn it. That shit was hilarious. Like,
oh, yeah. Great. This is, yep, Rachel and Lewis. This is the...
That confused me. What's going on there?
What do you mean?
When they came out, like, one was a ghost, right?
Yeah. Do you want to explain the whole Rachel and Leiter?
I'll do my best, Carrie. I mean, I already explained it to you. All right. So basically, Jar.
Oh yeah, you did good with me. So.
Yeah. So basically, Jar, to answer your question, Rachel Unleiter is the half sister of Gozer. She's a half demon, half human sibling of Gozer, and her father is Kozera, who is the father of Gozer, who came after the Ghostbusters for messing with his kid. And this was in the Scott Lobel and Elias Krasinski story, Displaced Aggression, which I know we covered. It might have been Jar before you were even with us. It's a 4-issue story arc called Displaced Aggression, which is basically Ghostbusters Lost in Time. So basically, Rachel gets a souped-up time-traveling Ecto-1, collects Peter in the Old West, Ray in medieval England, Egon in Mars in the 30th century, and then brings them back to modern-day New York, which is swarming with demons. Everything is fucked, to essentially fight Kozera and bring it on home. In the end, Rachel is revealed to be what she is, the half-sister of Gozer, who betrayed her kind to side with the Ghostbusters, and her sacrifice helps them defeat Kozera, although it is, I believe, at her expense. So this is the first time we've seen her since then, and I believe that arc was like, God, that was like really early. Basically, Jar, that was the second ever arc they ever did of Ghostbusters, right after our friend of the show, Keith Champagne and Tom Nugent's The Other Side arc. So that was kind of when IDW was kind of finding its Ghostbuster feet. So, yeah, they had some comics before the 2011 series with Eric and Dan. Mm-hmm.
Tom Dog has a question. Was there ever a crossover comic where the real Ghostbusters cross paths with the Filmation Ghostbusters?
There was not. There was talk of having the Filmation Ghostbusters show up and crossing over, but unfortunately, I believe there was a matter of rights, So, but no, the real Ghostbusters, I don't know if they ever did. They might have. There could have been a cheeky a little tongue-in-cheek reference somewhere. Maybe it was during the Get Real crossover between the real Ghostbusters and the Prime ones. I can't really say for certain, but I feel like I would have remembered that. That's pretty unique. I mean, I like how in a world where men carry nuclear accelerators and bust ghosts, that a group of people doing the same thing but with a giant gorilla would be weird. So
Yes.
I don't know that. I don't think that's irony, but it's definitely whimsy.
Great, babe.
How
Yeah.
whimsical.
Whimsical. Yes, quite.
Yeah.
But yes, if anybody has other questions, Ghostbuster related, this is the time to ask. But Jar, to answer your other question, June 8th is always considered Ghostbusters Day. I hate you so much, Carrie. I know. As that is the day that the movie premiered in 1984. So every year they have a gathering on that day or a weekend adjacent where they celebrate that. That happens at Hook Ladder 8, which is the firehouse in Tribeca that they filmed the original movie at, and subsequent sequels like the second one, and then scenes in Afterlife and things. And I believe the new movie Frozen Empire had scenes there too. Yeah, so a bunch of Ghostbusters bring their ectos. They showcase. A lot of people show up in all sorts of uniforms. It's really great. They have raffles. All the proceeds go to charity. They get people who starred in the movie, whether it's people who performed on the soundtrack, to small cameos, to notable people. And it's literally the entire strip of where the house is, for where it's on the corner to the other end. It's all blocked off. The firemen there love it. They've embraced that very much. It's a great event. There's always a ton of Ghostbusters, and it's always something happening. I mean, last year I went for the first time with one of my best friends, and I was in my element. I brought Twinkies. I was handing out Twinkies to people. There was a guy who was a Santa Claus Ghostbuster who was very happy to be given a Twinkie. And he was like, "Oh, thank you." I was like, "Well, you give us presents all the time. I feel like you deserve one, Santa, you know?" I remember me and my one of my friends who I helped become a Ghostbuster. I call him my Ghost Bro. We met this kid who he'd never had a Twinkie before. He had his first Twinkie. I was like, "Here you go. Enjoy. Don't get hooked. You know, definitely not good for you." There were some people I knew there, so it was nice catching up with people. Met some new friends. There's a guy there who's dressed like Jim Belushi, and in the comic, Ray is guided by a spectral entity who is drawn like Belushi. So that's their tribute, because as you know, Belushi was supposed to be Peter Venkman in the original script of Ghostbusters, but that had to change once, of course, he passed away. But he's always referenced as Ray's spirit guide. So, you know, this guy who's his name is on Instagram, his name is Baby Belushi, because he looks just like him. But he also does custom artwork. It's called The Real Ghostbusters, and it's REEL. And he takes scenes and he redraws them in the context of the real Ghostbusters. Yep, there's me. That's my Ghost Bro Fernando, and Santa. You know, that's Baby Belushi himself. The real Ghostbusters follow his work. It's always, especially if you're a fan of the especially if you're a fan of the real Ghostbusters. His shit is great. And I made sure to tag Dan Showing and Eric Burnham in that. That is the Slimer puppet from the shadow cast of the NYCC Ghostbusters. They used to do a shadow cast, which is where you watch the film and people reenact. They do scenes, they have props, and that's their Slimer. And another fun fact, at that, when I went last year, they had a wedding there. Two people got married in front of the firehouse, and we all got to participate, and we actually all got
Where'd he go?
we got little chips
Ooh.
to celebrate.
Taste?
Yeah, they gave us these little tributes. Their names were Jason and Ashley, and in true fashion, I had brought 2 Crunch bars, as that is what Peter gives Egon. That's the bride, Ashley. Carrie, you're just good on this, on finding the photos.
I'm working.
And then the groom, Jason, was there wearing a slime blower, which is pretty impressive because they're heavy. I gave them the Crunch bars. I was like, "You've earned this," and they really appreciated that. Even though it's June, everybody. So let me just tell you,
with the proton pack on and a whole fucking jumpsuit, that cannot be too comfortable.
Jar, I've been wearing my proton. Yep, there you go. Yep, I am such a.
I got you.
Such a smarmy fuck I am. But yeah, so it was just such a great experience. And this year it's going to be even bigger because it's the 40th anniversary. So I myself am going down again. It is one of the few years I push aside my anxiety and drive down and park in the city because I do not like taking public transportation while wearing a proton pack.
Understandable.
It's really easy to get claustrophobic about it, and on top of it, just people not being very cognizant of personal space. Because let's be real here, Jar. If you're coming in from where I live, you have to take it to Grand Central, and then you're going to have to take a bunch of subways to get to Tribeca. Like, that's a lot. And people are not going to be cognizant of personal space. You're in a subway. There's a lot of, closed spaces. God forbid you need one person who pushes, and something breaks, and then, the proton pack is not a toy. Just like Harold Ramis told Bobby Brown in the second movie, proton pack is not a toy. It's a very, very expensive toy.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Jenny would like to know.
Okay, that is really difficult, Jenny, because personally speaking, as much as Harold Ramis is, he's the forever Egon. I've always had a soft spot for the real Ghostbusters Egon, who, funny enough, him and the Extreme Ghostbusters Egon are voiced by the same voice actor, Maurice LaMarche, who we got to interview at Rhode Island in 2022. Maurice's Egon is the voice I hear when I'm reading the comics, because that's my childhood, was watching
all the real Ghostbusters too.
Yeah. And I've been fortunate enough in my life to have met 2 of the real Ghostbusters guys. I've met Maurice a bunch of times, and it's always fantastic. He was the first person to ever sign my proton pack, and he is probably one of my favorite people in the world. And I met briefly because it was at Rhode Island, and the line was very long. I did meet Frank Welker, who voiced Ray in the entire series, who is a prolific voice actor we would spend an hour and we wouldn't even cover all of his voice acting. I unfortunately cannot meet Lorenzo Music as he passed away, which I always make to a point of it. I would meet Dave Coulier. He was Peter for a bit. I know some fans are so about his impression. I always find it really funny because he's clearly just doing his version of a Bill Murray impression. So, it just talking like this, oh, you miserable little green stuff. I'm just like, I can't. And I've always wanted to meet Arsenio Hall, who was the voice of Winston. But that is not yet to happen, but I'm hoping, maybe one day, right, Jar? It can happen. Wait, no, that's Angels in the Outfield. My bad. Sorry, wrong movie.
Is Jar frozen, or did you just make him stare off into the void?
I think I might have broken him.
This
Hold on.
long stare going on. Jar?
Jar?
Buddy? Buddy, you okay?
Listen, if he's pranking us, that's amazing.
Jar.
I think the man's gone nuts.
And this is the most loveliest time of the year, with storms breaking up our internets and making us slow down and drop out of shows.
Yep.
And I called it right then.
You did. I think that's why
we will be back.
This is why you always bet on Carrie.
Ta-da!
There was a funny you missed it. There was a funny thing when we were going off on if you were pranking us with that.
My internet really.
Face.
Yeah, just
you're stuck with this like
my internet. I'm like, whoa. Okay, Jar, we got it.
All right.
So I mean, I don't really think there's too much more to say. I feel like we've talked about enough of the book. Was there anything we've talked about a lot of it. Was there anything you feel could have been a little better? Like any constructive criticism?
What ape story?
back on Campfire. Owlite Society.
You didn't even say anything about your Owlite menagerie.
Oh, right.
I was doing that. I was saving that for when we're done with the Ghostbusters and everything.
Yeah. So, but did you guys have anything that you wished maybe was a little, like any constructive criticism, something that you felt,
the only thing I had was towards issue 6, 7, maybe it was 8. I forget which. 2, but the 2 issues felt a little rushed to get to the end goal. But then once you got to the end goal, there was this whole extra stuff going on that they went with. So I don't know. Maybe it was just me.
Oh no, I mean, Jar, like I said, I think it was a big story. I think that they did as well as they could, kind of bringing it to a logical conclusion. Especially explaining that the events were all, as it always is, were the orchestrations of a big bad. Yeah. So, and then of course it's a big bad who has a personal tie with the Ghostbusters, specifically one of them, and how he gets his comeuppance with that was very cathartic. And the ending was sad. Yeah, you have to acknowledge it. We're not going to spoil anything, but poor Ray.
Yeah.
I did find it funny also when they were fighting over Air Force and Marines.
Yeah.
It was like
Jarhead. Flyboy.
Yep.
Yeah, I was worried when I started reading it that just the sheer amount of people involved, but they did a really good job of introducing, because they had to introduce them to each other because some of them didn't know the other ones, and it worked well enough, and especially then with those pages at the end too, that you could pretty much figure out who everybody was and a little bit about them and how they, worked together, what dynamics worked, and the switching up of the teams so they weren't with their own teams, being like, oh, so you got to fill in and pretend to be the Ray of this team, and you have to be the
No,
I thought
they
it worked
were
out
their
really well.
own. Yeah, because they were their own entities, and I think that's really says a lot about character development, and the variety of Ghostbusters we've seen over the years. So I agree, Carrie. Good safety tip. Nicely done. But yeah, so I know that Ghostbusters is now a dark horse, and they're doing currently they're doing the little tie-in series Back in Town, which is supposed to bridge what happened in between Afterlife and Frozen Empire, which is a decent story. I'll say that. I'm always down for more Ghostbusters. To me, it's kind of like Hellboy. There's always another story to tell.
Mhm.
So I'm just really glad you guys liked the story. I was kind of a little nervous dropping a super big story like this on y'all, but you enjoyed it, and that's what counts.
Yes.
I
Give me
loved
more than
all
a
the
day
big
next
bads too.
I mean, listen, Carrie, just add it to your 95 other titles you're reading on
How
your
do you
list.
Yeah.
do that? How do you read so many books at the same time and not get confused? Where
She has a spreadsheet.
do you? No kidding.
Yeah. Slowly
Oh
working
yeah.
on it. I need to go back and re-add a lot of stuff to it, but yeah, I have like over 300 titles on the spreadsheet that I've read since I started with splash pages alone. I started keeping track of them, and some of them I have missed. I have to go back and put on, but I believe, yeah, I have like 979 titles that I think I still need to read, that I'm working on. But those include things like, like the entire Ultimate Universe is like 20 titles,
Yeah.
but then again, some of them are huge. Some of them are a couple of issues. Some of them are, really long. So but no, I just read until I get an ocular migraine, and then
It doesn't feel overwhelming at times or anything like that.
I get so into it. I might have to remind myself later, like, oh, this was this one, this was this one. Sometimes if it's a bunch of short series, but I'll just like find a writer and get on a kick with them, or find an artist and get on a kick with them, and then
True.
just go through and be like,
That's
I want
cool.
that feel for a while. So I'll just keep. Okay, I can read these 4 short issues or this one really long one, and yeah.
So, Carrie, before we end the show, and when we do,
Yes.
please put the focus on me at the end because I have an idea. I believe there's some most recent release that you want to talk about, correctly?
Yes, I am so proud of this, and I am so excited about this. Over at the Owlite Network, we have released, today is launch day for the Owlite Menagerie. This is a book that we've put together. It's an anthology of stories from all of the authors over on the Owlite Network, as well as some of the authors that we've had on as guests and interviewed. And book launches today. Look up anything on the Owlite stuff. You're going to find it. We have everything going. We're going to be having a launch party on Saturday. 9 p.m. Eastern is when it starts. We're going to have as many authors as we can over there. And all of the benefits or all of the profits are going to be going for the first year to Pro Literacy, which is an adult literacy charity organization that has all these programs to work with the community. And it's just something we are so proud of. We got it all put together. Facor is putting it out, publishing wise, and yeah, we really want to.
I just Googled it, and it was the very first thing that came up was Barnes and Noble.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. We have
Look
it up on Bookstreet. You can get things ordered. And this is our first network publication. So that's kind of cool for us. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. And please, guys, go check it out, because, oh my God, there's so many fun stories. And we have like people from the dirt, like Steve Van Samson is one of the folks that's in here. Curtis M. Awesome. All these Rob Smales who we've had before. Oh. And, Raz and Jenny, and I'm in it. I like my story. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. I did it. I wrote it.
Carrie, I got you on next time.
And it's for sale digitally everywhere now, and physically will be available by Saturday.
Hey.
So, yeah. Should we wrap?
I think we should wrap.
On that? All right.
Oh, no. She may wrap it up, Dar. Sorry.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. So for me, check out Carrie Sanders on Facebook.
Jar, it's her time, man. She's got to say goodbye. Don't be rude.
You'll see all. Jesus Christ! You'll see all my links there. Check out my author page. Check out the Owlite Network. We're going to check out so you can check out the book. I'm here with these guys every Tuesday, having fun with comics, and sometimes I am Fleo. Other than that, yep. Check out the book this weekend. Georgia.
That's my DJing skills. Let's see.
Very
Tomorrow night I will be on Talking with the Dead, and we will be hanging with actor extraordinaire Mr. Dean Butler from most people will remember him from Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, what a throwback. And let's see, I'm here every Tuesday hanging with these folks. And come check me out on Facebook at Jeremy Courtney. And I think that's about it. Yep.
Oh, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this show. And we hope you enjoy that my obsession with Ghostbusters has taken over yet again another show. So great stuff there. I'm on Facebook, Ghost Drew Malo, Ghostbusterman 1984. I'm working on a bunch of things. Some things are still in the works. Some things you could see soon. Who knows? And some days I'm like, who cares? But you do. So thank you. Thank you very much for always coming out to support us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for tonight. And yeah, I don't know, man. Just, do the thing.
Show off your blankets.
That's okay.
Show.
End the show.